All right, so we're going to start with the rapid fire round. The first question is, at what age do you want to retire?
50?
How long does it take you to get ready in the mornings?
I start at 6 a.m. 5 minutes.
Most embarrassing moment of your life?
Pass. Right now.
Favorite color?
Blue.
What time of day are you most inspired?
Morning.
How many hours of sleep can you survive on?
3.
Fill in the blank. An upcoming technology trend is blank.
An upcoming technology is going to empower the creators.
The city in which the best kiss of your life happened.
London.
Pick one, Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk.
Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah.
The biggest mistake of your career.
Sometimes not being able to stop projects that are not going well fast enough.
How do you relax?
I play games.
How many cups of coffee do you drink per day?
Probably more than 5.
A habit of yours that you hate.
I don't like people who talk. At the end of the day, to say nothing.
The most valuable skill you've learned in life.
Being agile and flexible.
Your favorite Netflix show.
Recently, it's not Netflix, Apple TV, but I really like
Ted Lasso?
Yeah, Ted Lasso is fun, but there's also a few one, Foundation.
Foundation, yes.
Wrath of God, many more.
Okay, all right. The most memorable movie you've seen recently?
What? Something like Wandering Earth?
A song you've been listening to recently?
I'm Blue, Da Woody, Da Wooda. The new remix by David Guetta.
All right, well, that's the end of the rapid fire round. Is there any question from the rapid fire round you want to talk about in more detail that you felt, or we can go on to the other question?
Well, I think we can move on to the next question.
Okay, so the bigger questions, which you can answer with as much ease and time as you like. Can you tell us more about the early days of the sandbox and how the concept of user-generated content drove its success in the mobile gaming industry?
So, at the very beginning of Sandbox has always been this idea that we wanted to empower creators and using new technology to do so, enabling like a much simpler, much more seamless experience of that technology. So originally it was a mobile game on iOS and Android. People just by the touch of their finger could create 2D pixelated world and share those creations in an online gallery where other players could access. It rapidly turned into a massive success. We had over 40 million installs over 8 years, 70 million player-made creation, but it also came with a big frustration. Like even we had tons of creators passionate about what they were doing, spending hours, sometimes days creating content. We were losing them. Like after weeks, after months, they were leaving because like social recognition wasn't enough. Like featuring them, showcasing their content wasn't enough. And they were looking for more of a form of sort of like revenue share, compensation for the values they brought to our game, because we were earning revenue thanks to their content at the end of the day. And that was not possible on the platform like Apple Store, Google Play Store, etc. Until we found about blockchain technology around 2017, and we decided to apply NFTs, digital asset on the blockchain, to the content that people created. So that's really the core, the origin story of Sandbox. Like always, like how do we not only empower anyone to become a creator, but at the end of the day, how do we also allow them to own their creation and allow them to monetize it the way they want? And it became a platform more than a game with various tools, content creation tools like 3D editor, no-code game maker, a marketplace, a map, game clients, and we brought in a lot of brands, more than 400 from various regions of the world in various fields of entertainment, music, sports, gaming, fashion, but also from culture and more. And I feel like we have brought a very amazing community of creators, very amazing community of landowners. We have more than 23,500 landowners who own this parcel of digital real estate of land. And very soon in Sandbox, by end of Q3, they will be able to open that land to their community, as the platform will be moving from this alpha stage to like more of like any creator can launch their content, attract their audience, start engaging, and even monetizing it.
What are some of the ways in which landowners aim to monetize it?
Well, we are a platform that uses technology which is blockchain and NFTs. So one of the most the way that people think is like NFT gated experience. That's not the only way, but definitely you could start selling an NFT ticket or a collection, an avatar collection, and people need to own one of those NFTs to be able to either access the full experience, so it's fully gated, or it could be partially gated, meaning like anyone can enter it, but certain portion will require you to own that digital asset to trigger, for example, a new quest or to open a new area. That's one thing. The other thing is definitely like starting your collection of equipment, wearable, thing that will enhance your experience, will expand the engagement of players into your world, the immersion into the lore and this virtual space that you're developing. At the end of the day, we're still quite early on, actually, in like defining the metaverse together. It's this myriad of virtual world that we access with an avatar. And all the landowners, all those creators, they are pioneers. I think they will come up with their own monetization strategies. We're already seeing some of our creators inventing new models where ownership is creating a new model of monetization. It involves like DAO, it involves like distribution of tokens, it involves distribution potentially of other digital asset reward based on people completing action, people engaging in certain ways in Sandbox, but also outside of Sandbox as part of the whole Web3 ecosystem. And I can't wait to see like this energy and the brain of those thousands of creators figure out what will be the next monetization model in the metaverse.
So could you share some insights into the role of blockchain technology in creating a more immersive and interactive gaming experience? How does the Sandbox leverage blockchain to enhance gameplay?
So blockchain is a technology, and it's a technology that enables to like provide true digital ownership to those creators who are like contributing in content the value of those virtual worlds, but also by their presence, by bringing life, by having activities, being present, exploring. And we really see like the format of experience that the Sandbox is offering with our no-code game maker is very different than just a game. Like many gamers would actually not enjoy this kind of experience, but it's an hybrid between like socialization with like you interacting with other users, making friends, having various activities together, some gamified mechanics with like quest, exploring, collecting points to compete in leaderboards, all of that bringing engagement, and also like bringing content and IPs, I call it like culture, from various either brand that exist in the physical world or communities and NFTs that come from this Web3 space. At the end of the day, it's a new format of entertainment which is avatar-centric, where users truly own their asset, can play, can own, can build alone or in multiplayer, can socialize and can earn. And that's really like the format that I think Sandbox is offering. That is really new. Like there's nothing alike, and it will bring new users. It will attract new creator. We're going to see different experience because of like new creators who haven't been doing games on other platforms. And the content you find in Sandbox, you will not find it on other platforms. That's also quite exciting.
And why do you think the emphasis is on avatar-centric?
Well, it's really the idea of the metaverse is not like just having an avatar exploring a virtual world. The idea of the metaverse, it's having the ability to take your avatar that becomes your digital identity from one world to another in a fully seamless manner. So not only your avatar actually, but also all your digital belongings, like your wearable, your equipment, the content you created or you earn by playing, even your virtual land, your virtual house, pets, why not? And you don't have to ask the permission to a developer or a game or a platform to take that content and start exploring with that same content across all those different worlds and platforms, which has never been the case before. Like you think about it, Fortnite, Second Life, Minecraft, Roblox, they all exist as like in silos, like they are closed walled garden. All the time you spend, all the content you buy or you earn, all the money you spend as well, it stays there. You cannot take it out. You cannot transfer it to another user. You cannot even sell it. Sometimes you can inside the platform, but you cannot do it outside. That's actually what we call like more like virtual world, centralized, as opposed to the concept of metaverse that we describe as open, where users can take their identity and use it in all those different places without any restriction. And all of that thanks to this technology, blockchain.
So with your background in mobile gaming, how do you see the intersection between mobile gaming and blockchain technology evolving in the coming years? Are there any specific trends or developments that you find particularly exciting?
I've been one of the pioneers in the space in what we call blockchain gaming. I'm also the president of the Blockchain Game Alliance. Back in 2019, we were just like 8 founding members. Today, we have more than 500 members, companies from all around the world that are using blockchain technology to create games and use it in different ways, either like for like the digital assets, the NFTs, for the currencies, and eventually even for like decentralizing the whole gameplay. But they're also using like DAO and decentralized governance to make sure that the players also can be involved in like choosing like how the games can evolve, certain of the rules of those games, and so on. It's just a technology. So at the end of the day, it's what people will do with it that will prevail. But I'm really excited to see that it's pushing forward to innovate again, to experiment again, to try new things and put players more at the core of the value proposition. For a long time, you look at free-to-play business model. It's a business model built on like a small percentage of users, 1 to 3% are actually monetizing, while all the others are playing for free and maybe receiving ads and so on. So the users are being indirectly the product being monetized because their data is being collected and sold to advertisers via the Web2 platforms for the developer to monetize. At the end of the day, this results in less innovation because developers are only copying games that are already successful to be able to monetize at 1 to 3% user base, taking less risk. They are actually implementing advertising service within their game to try to monetize more the rest of the scope, the rest of the audience. And we know that nobody really likes ads. Like developers don't like it, players don't like it. So at the end of the day, it's been all contributing toward the growth of Web2, which we know has led to this like hyper centralization of data and big platform, like taking away the relationship that we have to our favorite content and brands. Web3, the core value proposition of Web3 is like very user-centric, puts users back in control of their data. And I think gaming is a use case where like they can perceive the benefit of it, but people will not come just because they can sell their digital assets. They will come for the fun, for the experience, and then benefit eventually from like the freedom of ownership of selling or monetizing or finding new ways to interact more dynamically with their favorite games.
So as Web3 continues to empower players, like you're saying, to create value in games, what are your thoughts on the concept of players earning revenue for driving revenue for game developers? How do you see this evolving in the future of NFT gaming?
I think it's essential. Like, I look at two things. One is like, why it's been almost 30 years that the internet and gaming have started, and why did we build it in a way where like all our data online wasn't really effectively ours and couldn't be traded, exchanged, monetized, utilized, built upon in the way we wanted. Somehow we got accustomed to this idea that it was, because it's de facto like this and there was no other technology to allow it, it was the right way. It's not necessarily. So Web3 allows us to challenge that idea that we can build a better business model, a better way for users to own their data and create an internet that will be offering and sharing the value more fairly among all the actors of the network. Then, about gaming more specifically, I do believe that the future of gaming is going to be user-generated content. Like, there will be no single game which doesn't have like a major UGC component into it. People, and specifically Gen Z, which represent now more than half of the world population, 75% of that Gen Z, they want to be creator. They don't want to be passive in front of their favorite content. And not just creator by streaming how they play. They want to make their own characters, their own levels. They want to play other players' content. They extend the life of their favorite game in tenfold this way. And somehow, because they are creators, because they spend time, because it benefits the game ultimately, it's fair that the value also goes back to them. And today, in most of those user-generated content games, Roblox, Fortnite, Minecraft, etc., the creators are receiving a smaller portion of the revenue, maybe 70%, maybe 50% at the end of the day. And there's still some hiccups, like the platform still can decide at any point of time to change the value of the revenues it generates. They can change the percentage. They can change. They can decide to take it away from your account for any reason. That's where decentralization and blockchain comes into play, to have a more transparent, trustable, and a distribution of revenue where all actors are fairly remunerated. Specifically in case of Sandbox, creator will receive 95%, which I believe is the fair ratio.
What is the reason behind all these hiccups that you've been talking about?
Well, I think like it's been, I tried to explain it a little bit before, like the business model of free to play. Like, there are obviously costs to run like servers, infrastructure, to have the teams that build the products and allow the players to play on those different games and products. Like, it's building great game, engaging game, creating all the content. This is definitely not free. It comes with a major cost. And somehow, like, the developers have been really optimizing toward like, how do we make back that revenue first and foremost, and try to iterate with a business model like most of the time is live ops. So launching time limited events, seasonal events, where we keep selling and selling again and selling again to the users, and try to convert more of those paying users instead of 1%, 1.5, 2, 3, and so on, and retain them over time. And I feel it's not necessarily the right philosophy, but it's because you evolve into an ecosystem where it's been defined like this, and you have access to tools like this. Like, as a small developer, you don't want to reinvent the wheel every time. So sometimes you don't have to the time or the capacity to try to think of a better model in that scope of where you already exist.
So are there any upcoming partnerships or collaborations that you're particularly excited about?
Well, at Sandbox, as a user-generated content platform that embrace creativity, we're always very excited that almost every week we have a new partnership. Very recently, we announced BBC, Cipriani, the Little Prince. So we bring like brands and partners that are very cultural, iconic in certain region of the world, and we allow our community to play with those official content and even co-create like their own adventure, their own worlds using this official content. So I'm very excited to see like those worlds come to life from the imagination of players, from the imagination of people who somehow never felt before that they could create things like that. So in a way, like it's a combination of like bringing new creators and offering like content that they can interact with. That excites me a lot. We'll have very soon a lot of partners related to music artists, electronic music, and more in a land sale coming out toward the end of the month, which excites me a lot because like we have a chance to define better like how like artists and how can we interact with music and artists in the metaverse with this new social and immersive form of entertainment.
So the last question for you is of a personal kind. What would you be doing in your life if not this right now?
Nothing else. I love my job. Like every morning, it can be challenging, of course, but every morning, like the energy is back up and like the community is sharing over social media, Discord, and in Sandbox, like true moments where like they have emotion, they're playing with the avatar or what they are creating. And that I find it's amazing to be connected to the creator, to see what they do, to see how we inspire them as a platform and how we can help them to do even more ambitious things. I love that. And I love like in Web3 that we're really working toward like creating an ecosystem and supporting each other. So the more like different studios or companies are building products that attract new users, the more beneficial it is for everyone at the end of the day. And that's something that I really enjoy versus like the more traditional Web2 industry where people compete versus each other for the users. Hello, my name is Sebastien Borget. I'm the COO and co-founder of The Sandbox. Catch me at the Marketer of the Month podcast and in the Metaverse.